to the show. It is over for the Democrats, guys. Trump has just begun his mass firings of top Democrat officials across the federal government and is using the military to enforce any cleanup that needs to happen, guys. We officially have confirmed. Today's cabinet meeting has revealed so much. We're going to get into all the details, but we have officially confirmed that there was cheating involved within the government during the 2020 election. Trump was right. He's been right on so many of these things, guys. Tulsi Gabbard confirmed that she located documents in burn bags related to corruption in the 2020 election. They all cheated, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It was rigged. Trump was right. Trump is now going after everybody, guys, involved. This is justice coming back to America. Biden did not win that election. It is so sickening to hear all this news coming out that we finally have the truth over what actually has been happening and transpired over the past 4 years. On top of that, guys, again, like, this is winning. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. President Trump has fired Democrat Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook due to alleged mortgage fraud. He is the first president in history to actually fire a Federal Reserve governor. He is draining the swamp little by little. Not only that, guys, he's doing what matters the most, and that is getting to the money. When you follow the money, when you pull back the money, that's whenever you truly make change. Trump's DOT Secretary Sean Duffy has just announced that the federal government will revoke federal funding for California, New Mexico, and Washington if they do not fully enforce English language proficiency for commercial drivers within the next 30 days. They said, we've identified several states that have not been in compliance, and they have 30 days or else. Guys, we have to get to the money. The wins are going to keep coming in, but draining the swamp to me is even more important than those wins. Getting the bad people out. Look at this. Trump's winning across the board. NATO is paying 5% now. Grocery prices are down. U.S. is no longer funding Ukraine. Blue collar wages are up. $500 average wage increase for the average worker. Gas prices are down. Domestic auto production is up. $17 billion to steel plants. 84,000 less government jobs. And again, this is all Trump and his cabinet team, because the dang Senate, the dang Congress can't get back from recess and do their dang job. So Trump came out, and there is a new rules change that will happen within the Senate to fast track Trump's nominees through the Senate post haste as soon as they get back from recess, which will alter the Senate precedent. All of this stuff is changing on Trump's watch. He is making sure to put in the rules change, doing what he needs to do to continue to drain the swamp. Because again, I'm telling you guys, they're coming for 2026. Listen here, I'm telling you, this stuff is already coming out, and 2026 has to be too big to rig. We have to have the redistricting. We have to have the new sense because of this right here. Pennsylvania is banned from rejecting any mail-in ballots that are illegally dated. And this has been ruled by the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. I'm telling you guys, this is going to happen all across the United States. They're wanting to cheat. Now that we know from Tulsi Gabbard that they did, in fact, do something, interfere, corruption with the 2020 election, this is all messed up now. No holding back. Taking the gloves off. We're ready for a 1-2 punch, guys, to take and drain out the swamp. Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments, guys. Hashtag drain the swamp. It is time for Trump to drain the swamp more than ever. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. We got a huge show today. So much from coming from the cabinet meeting. So much that Trump is doing to bring true justice back for what they tried to do to him and to America. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to our subscribers and viewers. Guys, y'all are the best. Thank you so much for your support. If you don't mind, guys, if you're not subscribed, please consider joining the family. We want to serve you every day with the top news. Thank you to everybody that has given a super chat donation. Those that are members of the channel, we're truly grateful for your support. Guys, you are the best in helping us grow our giving. Remember, on the 22nd of every single month, We're donating live to local stream, live on stream with your support. If you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, it really does help out so much, guys. We got a big show for you today. Fireworks are going. We've laid some bombshell reports that have come from Trump's cabinet team. A rude awakening is here for the Democratic Party, guys. You can't make this stuff up. We are literally seeing the entire landscape change over what Trump has done and how he's taking over the United States and bringing justice back to America. I want to dive real deep, guys, into this real quick because, again, too, the cheating has happened. We 100% have proof now. Tulsi Gabbard announced it, and this is shaking everybody right now, guys. Listen to this.
And you've also found many bags of information. I think they call them burn bags. They're supposed to be burned and they didn't get burned, having to do with how corrupt the 2020 election was. And when will that all come out?
Mr. President, I will be the first to...
Guys, I apologize for that. We have the wrong one here. I apologize. Let me get this for you. There we go. Okay.
And you've also found many bags of information. I think they call them burn bags. They're supposed to be burned and they didn't get burned, having to do with how corrupt the 2020 election was. And when will that all come out?
Mr. President, I will be the first to brief you once we have that information collected. But you're right, we are finding documents literally tucked away in the back of safes in random offices in these bags and in other areas, which again speaks to the intent of those who are trying to hide the truth from the American people and trying to cover up the politicization that was led by people like John Brennan and James Clapper and others that have caused really immeasurable harm to the American people and to our country.
Great job. Thank you. We look forward to hearing it. The public looks forward. Thank you.
The public, that's it, guys. All of us, we're ready to see all this corruption finally be revealed to the American people, guys, because they lied to us time and time again. And it's just like one thing right after another. Everything that Trump said, he's been right on, guys. Like, you can't make this up. And even, I told you still, Pennsylvania is banned from rejecting any mail-in ballots that are illegally dated. The Third Circuit Court appeals rules. Guys, this right here just shows you. I told you guys that they are going. This just came out this morning, guys. They are going to try to rig the system, and we have to do everything that we can to fight against it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because, again, they're not going to stop. Listen to this.
I'm not sure what Democrats expected to happen here. I'm not sure what the media expected to happen when Donald Trump won the election in November. What did the left think was going to happen? Seriously, were Democrats under the impression that Donald Trump was just going to move on and pretend the last 10 years never happened? Pretend that none of this happened? 2 impeachments, 2 assassination attempts, Russia. Lawfare unlike anything we've ever seen before. Joe Biden working through his Attorney General, Merrick Garland, and people like Jack Smith and Fani Willis and Letitia James and all those liberal judges. 91 separate charges, 4 indictments. They raided Mar-a-Lago. They took his mugshot. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to take him off the ballot. They tried to put him in jail. Anything to keep him from getting back to the White House. It's still shocking just to read through all of that, and it should upset anybody, no matter how you voted, because none of that was right. And most Americans know that none of that was right. Americans have always had an amazing sense for what's right and what isn't. And because of that, the American people elected Donald Trump again in November, and now it's time for payback. It is time for payback now. But no one wants to talk about payback like payback is somehow a dirty word. It's not. According to Democrats, we should move on for the sake of the country. Chuck Todd tweeting that the virus killing democracy right now is 2 wrongs, making a right mindset revenge over principles. To which we say, actually, Chuck, two wrongs can absolutely make a right. And we should pursue every single person who was part of the conspiracy to bring down Donald Trump for the sake of the country. Revenge over principles, right, Chuck? People like Letitia James, the Attorney General.
Man, guys, if you appreciate what Trump is doing, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, every single step that you're about to see next, again, it's just showing the American people that everything was rigged. Everything was corrupt. This is what blows my mind, is that they thought if they could just keep him from being president, they would be scot-free. But guess what? Trump's coming back, and he's coming back, and he's going to go after everybody.
General of New York, who literally campaigned on getting Donald Trump. Think about that. Someone no one ever heard of campaigning for Attorney General in the state of New York, campaigned on taking down a sitting president. She didn't campaign on cleaning up the streets. She didn't campaign on crime or serving the people of New York. She campaigned on getting Donald Trump. And she did this because Letitia James is a tool. She probably always has been a tool. And I mean that literally, like a tool shed tool. A tool that was used by the Biden White House to try and prevent Donald Trump from ever becoming president again.
New York State Attorney General Letitia James speaking exclusively with our Aaron Katursky, insisting she will collect that civil fraud fine, even if it means seizing some of his assets.
We are prepared to make sure that the judgment is paid to New Yorkers. And yes, I look at 40 Wall Street each and every day. If he does not have funds to pay off the judgment, then we will seek, judgment enforcement mechanisms in court. And we will ask the judge to seize his assets.
Oh, yes, whisper voice, to seize his assets, and then I'm going to stare at Donald Trump in court because I'm so naughty and bad. Remember that? That was last May. None of it worked. None of it worked because that case was based on politics, a case where there were no victims or complaints, a case that was never about the law. It was always about her trying to get him. Letitia James trying to get Donald Trump. How do you like me now, Letitia? He's back in the White House and you're in a whole lot of trouble. None of it worked.
And guys, again, Trump has officially moved forward and fired Lisa Cook due to alleged mortgage fraud, guys. This is huge. Now that there will be another vacancy at the Federal Reserve, Trump will put in his appointee. He will have a 5-2 majority, and you're talking about being able to actually do what needs to be done with the interest rates, helping Americans out, whether it's buying their homes, buying their cars, starting businesses, guys. This is what we voted for. Promises made, promises kept, to root out the dang corrupt people and actually put America first. Jeffrey Hatt, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said Democrat Communist Party is going down. Free America from the Communist Party. Love TrueLife News family. I love it. Show Jeffrey some love in the chat, guys. Welcome to the family. Lisa Bateman, guys. Show Lisa some love in the chat. This is beautiful because guess what? Now that vacancy will, there will be a vacancy for Lisa Cook. Trump will appoint somebody. They'll have a 5-2 majority, guys. And then Jerome Powell is gone next year. Trump will put somebody in a lot better with his people. This is going to be fantastic because, again, I promise you, as soon as Trump can, he's going to get the right person in place, and they're going to completely change the way the Federal Reserve works, and it is going to bring massive, massive wins to America, guys. Listen to this.
History to weaponize his own Justice Department to go after the guy running for president against him. Fact, full stop, let that marinate for a moment. That's what happened for 4 years. Where was the outrage then? Where was Chuck Todd? Where was Peter Baker? Where was the New York Times? Jeff Jacoby, a reporter for the Boston Globe, tweeting that the Trump administration grows steadily more grotesque. Never has there been a more vindictive president or one more intent on using the power of government to punish his critics. My goodness, Jeff, who I'd never heard of before today, apparently was in a coma for the last 4 years, too, because no one seems to remember anything that happened when Joe Biden was president. On CNN, it was the exact same thing, meaning one of two things. Either these people are really stupid or they literally have amnesia.
There is no evidence that there was some top-down order of political retribution in either the Obama or the Biden administrations. I'll concede to you that Donald
Trump... They made up like the Russian hoax, and they used information to go after Donald Trump to try to undermine his entire presidency, and they all signed their names to it.
Are you going to give me a second to talk or no?
No, but like, you can't say that didn't happen.
Listen,
it happened.
The Russia hoax, first of all, was Donald Trump prosecuted?
They did it to impeach
was he
him.
prosecuted?
He was in...
Yes. The Washington Post writing that the Friday John Bolton raid and the rebuke of Trump's $500 million fine show what happens when justice is not impartial. And I'm trying to read that with a straight face, but that is difficult. I want to read that last part one more time. The Friday raid shows what happens when justice is not impartial. When justice is not impartial. Was justice impartial when they raided Mar-a-Lago? Was justice impartial when Donald Trump was forced to sit in a New York courtroom for 6 weeks last May? Was justice impartial when Donald Trump, the most famous human being on the planet alive today, was forced to sit for his mugshot? That was 2 years ago yesterday. We don't remember justice being impartial back then, ever. Again, the media are writing this stuff like the last 4 years, heck, like the last 10 years. Never happened. Like the raid on John Bolton's little house out there in Bethesda, which had to be approved by 2 separate judges, is somehow unusual after what Joe Biden did for 4 years.
Boom.
Even though John Bolton has yet to be charged with a crime. Yet.
Is Ambassador Bolton being targeted because he's a critic of President Trump?
No, not at all. And in fact, if we were trying to do that, we would just throw out prosecutions willy-nilly like the Biden administration DOJ did, prosecutions that later got thrown out in court. If we bring a case, and of course we haven't done that yet, the Department of Justice has not done that yet. We are investigating Ambassador Bolton, but if they ultimately bring a case, it will be because they determine that he has broken the law. You shouldn't throw people willy-nilly in prison. You should let the law drive these determinations, and that's what we're doing.
Guys, and I told you, I mean, this is as big as it gets, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Everybody is turning on these corrupt Chicago mayors, these corrupt elitist guys, and JD Vance drops the best one-liner after what you're about to see next, guys. It does not get any more sweeter than this. What I'm about to show you guys, I promise you, is real. We didn't make this with AI. It is the actual real news that is going to blow your mind, but this is how much people are transitioning to common sense policies and are asking the right questions, and we are exposing everybody, these elitists who think that they control elections, bring in the illegals. This is beautiful, guys. Get some popcorn. Put it in the chat, guys. Put some popcorn in the chat because this is beautiful.
Would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Ooh.
Oh, look, here's...
Guys, when did you ever think that old Joey over here, Good Morning Joe, would be like, hey, I think it would be good. What do you think? Giving him a layup to say, you know what? We do want to work with Trump. We do want to keep our streets safe. We do want to do this. He's giving him a layup, and this dang mayor is so idiotic. He's not even getting it. It's not clicking in his head, and he keeps fighting him on it. Guys, listen to this.
The best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone. Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing. Look,
guys, you can't beat it, guys. You can't negotiate with idiotic, nonsensical policies. And look at the one-liner that JD Vance gives out. Guys, you can't make this up. This is about as gold as possible. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, we are bringing the breaking news today, and it is awesome.
I happen to believe that maybe the most sacred thing that we can deliver to American workers is the ability to live safely and comfortably in their own neighborhoods. Public safety is not just something that should belong to the wealthy. It should belong to every working man and woman in the United States of America. And because of the work of this administration, that is happening. And of course, Mr. President, you yourself talked about the inflation. I happen to believe.
Do you hear that? He said that the wealthy shouldn't be the only ones that can get safety in America. It should belong to every single American, guys. And more news dropping, like this type of stuff that's coming out today with all the news from the cabinet, things that have dropped this morning on the firings. This is what we voted for. Promises made, promises kept.
From having to make those tough decisions between guns and butter. This is why this NDA right now, I'll get more into this later this week, and we shouldn't pass it. We shouldn't pass it. You want to stop this? You want to stop the madness of spending? Let's just go to the heart of it. And I am far from being a dove or a isolationist, but I'm a realist. Right there, Howard's talking. There's 55 million. There's 55 million immigrants in the country on different visas, and I don't want Howard Lutnick, who's a sales guy. You're not going to sell me on this. You're not going to sell us on this. Don't sit there and say, first off, the response to the 600,000 Chinese was kind of mind-bendingly ridiculous. Can you imagine this guy as Secretary of the Treasury? Remember, that was Elmo's, that was Elon's boy. He wanted that guy to be Secretary of Treasury. Of course, we pushed our own contributor, Scott Bessent. Why? Because Scott's a safe pair of hands and will look you in the eye and into the camera and tell you what's going on and not try to spin you.
Guys, what he's talking about, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is raising red flags after Trump indicates that the U.S. will accept 600,000 Chinese students. Howard Lutnick came out and said, we are in favor of this. Our MTG, our girl MTG, she don't hold back, guys, has come out and said, and this is from, breaking news this morning, this is wrong. We should not be accepting this many Chinese students into our country, into our colleges. Let's put America first. Let's keep it only to as much American students as possible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because lots of stuff is breaking today. We're showing you all the breaking news over what's going on. A lot of people are on the fence over whether they side with Trump or not, and people are already seeing divided lines in Congress over this huge move that you are seeing on the screen.
And do we agree with 1,000% what's happening at Treasury? No, but Scott Bessent is a honest broker and going to tell you what's going on. With Lutnick, grab your wallet because you're always being sold something, right? He comes across as a bond salesman. bond salesman from a bucket shop. The response in the 600,000 is ridiculous. Particularly the New York Times has a incredible article up. The New York Times. I'll put that up after the show. New York Times has an amazing article of investigative reporting of how, wait for it, the Chinese Communist Party has infiltrated into New York City and has a major role in local elections in New York City. Hello. What did Miles Guo tell you? What have we been telling you for years and years and years and years? The mail-in ballots nationwide are because of the CCP.
Wow.
The 55 million foreign-born people here on these visas, and I am not anti-immigration. I am anti-insane policies against American citizens, full stop. And I don't think the solution here is a gold card where we're selling American citizenship for $5 million. Here's what I think we ought to do, and not have Howard Lutnick work around the edges on the H-1B visas. It's simple. The H-1B visa program is a total scam. The H-1B visa is to take the job of those 13 young people that died in defense of their country at Abbey Gate in Kabul, Afghanistan on the 26th of August of 2021. It was to take their job when they got home. Well, Steve, how you say that's so cruel? How you say? Because that's the purpose of it. Look at the scandal they just had at Walmart, where some guy's getting $30,000 a day to scam the H-1B visa program. All the visa programs are scams. Let me repeat this, all of them. You want to take care of your affordability issues in your cities with your homes and have family formation happening earlier because kids can buy homes and get a partner and get married and have a couple of 3 kids.
I got 3.
And rejuvenate this country. You want to do that? And have people buy into the system because now they have a stake. What I call when I talk about home title lock, that title. Every dream you've had is in that home, right? What about doing that? Let's take the $55 million and say, hey, this is very simple. We're going to cut out half of it. Oh, you can't do that. It'd be terrible. Yeah, the Wall Street guys are going to say there's going to be awful. It's not going to be awful for American citizens.
Guys, let me tell you this. You know how America First Trump is? I just got to show you guys. Trump has said that he's ready to jump in and help out where he needs to. He's going to even help out Cracker Bro, guys, because Cracker Bro just came out with the new logo. Let me know what you think in the comments, in the chat. Check it out. I think this is pretty good. What do y'all think about that? The new Cracker Barrel logo. Just put a picture of Trump, replace the other guy, put America first. This, guys, you can't beat this stuff, guys. Trump literally posted about Cracker Barrel and all this stuff about America first and everything. Stop the DEI. Stop all this craziness. You want to know every single bit of federal funding, guys, is about to be pulled. This huge announcement came out today, guys. I'm telling you, breaking news across the board. This is huge. Listen to this.
And breaking news right now, the Department of Transportation announcing formal action against 3 states for failing to enforce federal English language proficiency requirements for commercial motor vehicle drivers. Listen here.
That time period from We've identified several states that have not been in compliance. That would be Washington, California, and New Mexico. Those are the three states that have not complied with this rule. We are going to give these states 30 days to come into compliance with truck drivers speaking proficiently the English language, or we're going to look at federal funding.
Okay, so the reason this is important, Bill, you were with me yesterday. We were talking to the state of Florida because they have just started to require these English language proficiency tests at weigh stations for commercial truck drivers. This after the Indian driver who didn't speak any English killed 3 people in April.
And you were curious kind of how those English tests work. I think you said it's 16 different questions also involving road signs. But yeah, Florida bringing the hammer down. You just heard Sean Duffy say there, if you don't get up to par with this, we're gonna start removing some of your federal funding. And they announced yesterday they're turning all of their weigh stations and agriculture checkpoints into federal immigration enforcement. So any of these like illegal immigrant drivers who are out there with IDs from different states, there's a lot of weigh stations in the state of Florida, and they might start getting caught up soon.
So Sean Duffy just announcing that.
Guys, this is big. Again, every piece of federal funding, and you're talking about, guys, trillions of dollars go to states in federal funding. So all this stuff is being pulled back. Trump is firing people left and right when it comes to putting America first, guys. Listen to this, because I'm telling you, like, this is what we voted for. Draining the swamp, baby. Put it in the chat, guys. Put the popcorn in the chat. Drain the swamp. Trump, drain the swamp. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. I'm telling you, we got a big show today. We're going to hit the... Wait. Are we going to get it? Are we going to get it, guys? Sometimes it wants to give us the fireworks and sometimes it doesn't. I don't understand what really makes it go. Sometimes it gives us to it. Sometimes it don't. But this is beautiful, guys. Look at this.
You're fired. In a late-night letter posted to Truth Social, President Trump upping his pressure campaign on the Fed. President Trump moving to fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook due to her, quote, deceitful and potentially criminal conduct concerning alleged mortgage fraud. Her response, I will not resign. I will continue to carry out my duties to help the American economy as I've been doing since 2022. Federal Housing Finance Agency head Bill Pulte says Trump has ample cause.
This is a very serious crime, mortgage fraud. It carries up to 30-year prison sentences. I believe the president has ample cause to fire Lisa Cook. Whether he wants to do that or not is entirely up to the president. However, we will go where mortgage fraud is. If mortgage fraud is with a Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't matter. If you commit mortgage fraud in President Trump's America, we're going to come after you. And Lisa Cook is no exception to that.
And Cook's attorney, Abby Lowell, just came out and said that Lisa Cook will fight this. Of course, Abby Lowell from Hunter Biden fame. So, Charles, I go to you first. We talked about Lisa Cook over the past week, talked about the charges.
Get him out of there.
The president has moved. She's going to fight. What do you make of all this?
I think one of the interesting things is everyone kind of talks about the standing of the Federal Reserve, and you know, not to make a mockery of the institution itself. We just had 3 major Fed officials not too long ago resign over the stock trading situation, which ironically the IG found them all not guilty of violating any sort of thing. Although that was the Fed IG, so you know that brought out additional scrutiny. But still, the point is, none of them necessarily fought. And ironically, if they did fight, they would have been found not in violation. But they didn't because they wanted to protect the sanctity, if you will, of the Federal Reserve, which, by the way, this Powell Federal Reserve is the most unpopular ever. You know, not too long ago, I think it was Pure Gallup took a poll. And so Americans are losing faith. And they're losing faith in the entire system, to be quite honest with you. But certainly in that, so in my mind, I would have preferred to have seen her resign. I just don't believe Bill Pulte and it would have gone out there saying that there's mortgage fraud if there wasn't something very, very suspicious. That, to the average person, would look really wrong if someone watching this show did it.
Lydia, bring your lawyerly perspective to this. So I think Lisa Cook is saying, this is not cause for me to be fired. It's the cause issue. Now, I look at it as a non-lawyer and say, well, if you lied on your mortgage application and you're a regulator of those kinds of things and you have charge over interest rates, which is what that whole thing is about, that seems like cause to me. What do you think as a lawyer?
You know, this breaks out into 2 very kind of clear, clean issues. I think one is whether or not we have cause for President Trump to remove her. And the statute is really clear. In order to remove a Fed governor, you have to have cause, some type of malfeasance. So here, the issue is that we have allegations of wrongdoing, right, coming from Bill Pulte, another agency head. He is accusing her of mortgage fraud, and he's referring that over to the Department of Justice. But as of now, she's not been charged. I don't believe the DOJ has opened up a formal investigation into this just yet. So whether or not that rises to malfeasance or for cause for termination is an open question. The statute does not define it. No case law has defined this so far. So this is a novel question that would be presented for the courts. So setting that to the side, because I think you can actually argue that issue either way. The secondary question is whether or not she would be able to continue to serve in her role even as President Trump is trying to remove her. And there's been some interesting decisions from the Supreme Court just over the past couple of months on that very issue, in which they allowed him to remove, you know, an agency official from the National Labor Relations Board and also from the Merit Systems Board, saying they can be removed while they're also litigating the underlying claims to keep their job. Needless to say, we are in uncharted territory, and the President Trump is doing everything he can to hype up this pressure on the Fed. Does it really matter what happens here with Lisa Cook? I actually think it doesn't. I think he's doing his job just by hurling the allegations, by having Bill Pulte out here accusing her of wrongdoing. He's accomplishing what he wants, which is a total revamp and scrutiny of the Fed.
Guys, I'm telling you, everybody is getting it. Look at this. HHS Secretary RFK will now revoke funding from 46 states and territories if they refuse to remove all gender ideology references from their sex education programs within 60 days. California has already been revoked. The rest are next, guys. This is the statute. This is straight from the 46 recipients of those letters, include the following states and territories. Look at this. They are not playing around. The money, guys, it's all about the money. I'm going to show you all the money and where things are going to in just a moment. But this is what we vote for. Reducing the size of government. Making sure that our tax dollars are not going towards stupid, wasteful, non-common sense policies. And we are literally living it day in and day out right now, guys. I'm going to show you this because, again, it's all about adding up the wins and adding up the wins right after another. Look at this. Not only right here at the bottom, 84,000 less government jobs. NATO paying their fair share. Grocery prices. Gas prices are down. Blue-collar wages are up. Pulling back federal funding from these dang blue states that have these crazy ideologies using taxpayer funds. No, you want to do that? Go do it on your own dang dime. Don't use taxpayer funds. People getting fired, guys. Show some love in the chat because this is what we voted for.
President Trump, the chief executive, fires somebody who he says he has cause to fire. Do you agree with that?
You're setting policy, monetary policy inside of a company. If somebody is setting policy for the company, but their own behavior doesn't line up with the policy setting, it's a problem. I want to go back to Charles's comment about being popular, not being popular. Not being popular for anybody that may be on the other side isn't about where the interest rates are. It's about the way you're looking at monetary policy. Do you agree with that?
From the general public's perspective?
Well, nobody likes high rates. So does that make you unpopular, or
Right.
is that just good monetary policy?
I honestly think one of the things that's tarnished this pile fed is the transitory situation.
That's right.
Which I think the average person does understand. And most people felt like, hey, my man, you haven't been to a grocery store. And so I think he lost a whole lot of credibility within the financial community and outside of the financial community.
When you make decisions that affect my family's income or my cash flow and you don't seem like you're in touch with reality, that's when you become unpopular.
Well, or you're in touch with realities that you shouldn't be, like fighting climate change or DEI policies. The Fed's job is not to do that. I think a lot of people outside the Fed say, you've been focused on the wrong stuff and you screwed up the stuff that actually does affect my pocketbook. But Tom, I want to ask you about markets.
Guys, I want to show you this real quick because I told you I'd bring you the receipts. This is straight from Grok right here, guys. Again, we can't even fathom the actual amount of money that transfers to all the dang states. Glow, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said popcorn and pizza party. Let's go. Show Pretty Butterfly Glow some love in the chat. Right here, how much total federal funding does the states get from the federal government? In 2024, the federal government provided approximately $1.1 trillion in total funding to state, local governments, including states, tribal governments, local entities like cities and counties. Guys, if this isn't like we are cutting down the deficit by stopping wasteful spending on all these opinionated, personal, DEI, all this stuff is going away under Trump. This is how you completely start saving taxpayers' money. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
I don't think markets care. You know, there's this whole conversation of like the Fed's independence is being jeopardized here. The president, you know, is kind of using a side door to get control. Maybe the market's just like low interest rates, and that's what they think they're going to get. Or maybe they actually think, you know what? If this person can't do a mortgage application, they shouldn't be on the Fed board.
Right. Well, the irony is if she had just voted to lower rates, she could have refinanced and not had this problem. But leaving that aside, she certainly understands interest rate arbitrage. You know, if the allegations are true and you fill out one application and the second one you say it's a primary, you get a lower rate on that. So she's making a VIG on that. That is unacceptable if these prove to be true. So what's happening is we've got the most dissenters that we've had in over 25, 30 years. You got Bowman, you got Waller, you got Miram now, they're gonna push through before the September meeting. if she's out, you've got 4 dissenters. Powell seems to be shifting gears since Friday. This is very constructive for the market. The market loves it. All the laggards, the small caps that have been neglected, the unmagnificent 493 that need to refinance at lower rates to get the economy booming are going to benefit from this. So this is all a step in the right direction. Powell seems to be moving in the right direction, but if not, Trump's got him surrounded now. He's got all of these dissenters.
Game theory at its finest.
As Lydia said, it doesn't even have to be true anymore. It's the game theory of just creating the doubt.
But guys, you know what? That's beautiful too. Remember, moving in the right direction, saving people money, making sure that we continue to do what? Put America first, guys. I just got to show you it again, guys. Isn't this a great new Cracker Barrel logo? If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Put Trump on there. You'll get some more sales. People will love it. Every single, what Trump's team is doing is so massive. Listen to what Scott Bessent says on the tariff revenue. God, this is so genius. Trump is bringing America back to a golden age. Listen to this.
And I think we're going to see a bigger jump from August to September. So I think we could be on our way well over $500 billion, maybe towards the $1 trillion number.
Trillion.
This administration, your administration, has made a meaningful dent in the budget deficit. The average budget deficit during this term is 26% less than the last 12 months under Biden. And even the CBO, and we don't agree with CBO on everything, as you said, last Friday, on a summer Friday, had to admit that they believe over the next 10 years, the budget deficit will be $4 trillion lower than they had previously scored. $4 trillion, $3.3 trillion of tariff income, $700 billion of lower interest costs. And I would expect that number could go up from here. So, Mr. President, your return to the White House marked the return of the American worker. Thank you for reclaiming Labor Day for the American people. You're growing the economy for everyone, especially the middle and lower income households who suffered disproportionately under the last administration. And it's an honor to do this under your leadership.
Wow. Just completely revolutionizing America with what they're doing with the tariff revenue. It is just beautiful. One thing right after another. Everything Trump is doing is putting America first. It's just like we are living in an entirely different United States under Trump's leadership. Like, tell me, what more could you ask for with all the stuff that he's doing? And we're still only 6 months in, y'all. 6 months in. He's still got 3.5 years. Just imagine what's about to happen.
Trump's turning D.C. into Disney World. That's not me saying it. That's the media. 47's molding D.C. into his own personal Epcot, a political theme park where troops keep the peace and the White House glitters like Mar-a-Lago. I took my kids to Epcot. It was clean, friendly, and fun. Why would anyone be against that? With a little imagination and some pixie dust, Trump turned the Capitol into the most magical place on earth.
We actually arrested a total of well over 1,000 people. We took hundreds of guns away from young kids that were throwing them around like it was candy. As I said, we've had 0 murders in the last week. And some of these people were from foreign countries. They said, that doesn't sound so good. And I said, well, it doesn't sound good, but Washington was the most dangerous place in this country. And now, you know what? It's probably the safest place in our country.
The National Guard's carrying 9mm and M4s. And we've
go.
gone 12 days without a murder in D.C. It's the longest streak since before the pandemic. Trump's done so much, the U.S. Marshals gave him a badge.
We thought it was only appropriate to present you with an honorary United States Marshal Service badge. And this badge comes with this little item right here, the handcuff key, Mr. President, because you continue through your policies and your efforts with your staff to unhandcuff law enforcement officers all over this nation.
America's heartthrob, Stephen Miller, says Trump's making America date again. Last week was Restaurant Week and Liberation Week.
For the first time in their lives, they can use the parks, they can walk on the streets. You have people who can walk freely at night without having to worry about being robbed or mugged. They're wearing their watches again. They're wearing jewelry again. They're carrying purses again. It is a literal statement that President Trump has freed 700,000 people in this city who were living under the rule of criminals and thugs.
This isn't just a win for your wife who wants to wear jewelry. You know the jewelry you bought her. Guys can show off the bling too.
I don't even got to look over my shoulder no more. I'm walking around with this. Listen, jump out on me if you want. I'm gonna scream. They're gonna be here in 33 seconds. I got some help, some backup. For real, you help, you jump out. I'm gonna blow your ass. Look, they right here. Look, they outside. Oh, God almighty.
No murders, and guys can wear flashy watches and take girls to dinner. Who's again?
Oh, man. Isn't this beautiful, guys? Thank you so much, Patrick Trebet, for the super chat. Let's go. Hey, that's Trump. Trump's a superhero. My favorite GIF. Show Patrick some love in the chat. You can't, I mean, the stuff that we're seeing, people are finally coming around. And it's everybody. It's everybody. It's guys, it's girls. Everybody is starting to say, dang, you know what? Trump was right. We want to be safe. It's okay if we see military personnel, because you know what? Ain't nobody going to do nothing. We're going to be safe. This is what we voted for.
What's that?
Why has Bowser allowed D.C. to be a playground for white gentrifiers and developers at the expense of the native population?
So misguided. Trump's going to protect whites and blacks, whether they like it or not. Big Balls won't have to take one for the team anymore. He was jumped saving a girl from getting carjacked, but he's back from the hospital throwing up 225 on the bench. They're calling him swole balls.
Beachside
Meanwhile,
rehab.
Democrats can't even get it up without help.
This is sad.
Let's go!
I might need you. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Hey, let's go.
This is literally only 135 pounds, y'all. This is nothing for any male should be able to bench press 135 pounds. But I saw a comment. Somebody said it's just like an elitist, that even whenever they go to lift weights, they got to have somebody else actually do the heavy lifting for them. I said, dang, that sounds pretty right. But this right here, this is just pathetic.
Kami Mandami couldn't do one rep with 45s on the side without someone lifting it for him. If he can't manage 135 pounds, how's he going to manage the weight of New York? It's not a light job. And talk about being unprepared. You go into Men's Day in Brooklyn with the cameras hot, and it looks like you've never been to the gym. This guy's not ready to run New York. He's just winging it. Zoolander will be walking around with armed bodyguards. It doesn't matter if he's a weakling, but you'll have to fend for yourself. Because he's giving an easy pass to criminals. He wants to scrap misdemeanors and wants to send social workers to crime scenes and keep cashless bail. But Trump's writing an executive order overruling it.
I mean, they kill people and they get out. Cashless bail. They thought it was discriminatory to make people put up money because they just killed 3 people lying on a street. Any street all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it. But we're starting by ending it in D.C., and that we have the right to do through federalization.
In Greenwich Village, 2 convicted killers were arrested selling drugs in the park, and the city let them walk with no bail. A Tren de Aragua gang member was wanted for homicide, and they arrested him, and he got out no bail. A pickpocketer was busted 45 times just last year, and he's still out on the streets. Cashless bail was such a problem in Chicago, they reversed it. But Chicago homicides are still way too high. Homicides were higher every year in Chicago under Biden than under Obama. Trump says the Guard might have to pay the Windy City a little visit.
Is the Pentagon preparing for military deployment to Chicago? And with what you said there, are you waiting for the governor?
We're ready to go anywhere. You know, I hate to barge in on a city and then be treated horribly by corrupt politicians and bad politicians like a guy like Pritzker. He ought to spend more time in the gym, actually.
Chicago could look like Epcot, but Governor J.B. Back Ribs says it's already utopia.
Well, here I am on the path on the lakefront at 6 a.m. on a Monday. And we got a lot of people running, having a great time. It doesn't feel like a hellhole here. In fact, everybody's having a great time and enjoying themselves.
J.B. Back should take that act to the South Side.
Ooh.
6 people were killed there this weekend, including a kid. And the governor doesn't appreciate the fat jokes.
From my perspective, it takes one to know one on the weight question. And the president, of course, himself is not in good shape. So he ought to respond to that from me.
Instead of I'm rubber, you're glue, J.B. Back should say thank you. D.C. is on its 12th day of no murders after they averaged one every other day for 30 years.
Wow.
Pritzker should say, yeah, let's save lives together. The mayor of Chicago, who's one of the most unpopular mayors in the country, with a 26% approval rating, says if Trump sends the Guard to protect blacks from killing each other, he's going to mount an insurrection.
The people of this city are accustomed to rising up against tyranny. And if that's necessary, I believe that the people of Chicago will stand firm alongside of me as I work every single day to protect the people of this city.
Wow. You know what's mind-blowing, y'all? Is that this what I feel like you're seeing on the screen. Lisa Cook, she's fired. She's gone. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. More of this is coming. Trump's team is literally changing the landscape like nobody's business right now. And again, I want to play this for you too. All these mayors, all these governors that are siding on the wrong side of history with illegals and with crime, all this, yeah, Mark Gonzalez, it sounds like treason. It does. When you are willing to allow crime to run rampant, when we now know for a fact that there was corruption within the 2020 election, that we now have facts from Tulsi Gabbard that was announced today. Listen to this. This is the type of stuff that, remember, it used to be a conspiracy theory. Oh my goodness, you're one of the crazy ones. Now we actually have the facts of what's going on.
And you've also found many bags of information. I think they call them burn bags. They're supposed to be burned and they didn't get burned, having to do with how corrupt the 2020 election was. And when will that all come out?
Mr. President, I will be the first to brief you once we have that information collected. But you're right, we are finding documents literally tucked away in the back of safes in random offices in these bags and in other areas, which again speaks to the intent of those who are trying to hide the truth from the American people and trying to cover up the politicization that was led by people like John Brennan and James Clapper and others that have caused really immeasurable harm to the American people and to our country.
Great job. Thank you.
Everybody was wrong on the left-wing media outlets. Trump was right on all this, and Trump is going after everybody, and it's about dang time because it's actually it's just common sense. If you can't handle the crime as is, we're going to send in the military. What's so hard to comprehend about that? If we can't have definitive, safe elections, then guess what? No more mail-in voting. You have to do it in person. You have to show your ID. We need to make sure that we have free, fair elections. All this stuff, people, I'm just waiting for somebody to get arrested, like who you're about to see next, because we need to have accountability.
Johnson can't protect his own people. Why wouldn't he want help from Trump? Because Trump's white? Because he's a Republican? What? Because this is all about politics. Johnson and J.B. Back can't do their job. And if President Trump, who doesn't even live there, isn't even from there, can do it better in a couple of weeks, he's going to show them it's possible to control crime. These lifelong politicians keep everyone's expectations so low because they don't do anything with the power we give them. So when someone comes along and actually does something with that power, it makes the useless ones go crazy because it exposes their limp system that lets them stay in control. Judge Jeanine Pirro says, if you want to fight tyranny, fight crime.
You know what tyranny is? Tyranny is when you can't walk outside and go to dinner. Tyranny is when they shoot you and the person walks out of jail before you get out of the hospital. Tyranny is when people are not made accountable. Johnson ought to hope that the president comes there to clean up the mess in Chicago.
Trump's managing to unite the left and the right, while the politicians who sit up above are left out in the cold.
Have you been in Chicago? Have you been in Baltimore? Look, my daughter went to school in Chicago. I remember the day she graduated, there were shootings and killings right outside of her building. And in Baltimore, I have friends that go down to Johns Hopkins, get treated for medical conditions. I mean, they're nervous about ever going there. Then this is not some right-wing person. This is somebody who wants to be able to go into some of our great cities and be able to be safe.
The city of Baltimore, the population's gone down by 300,000 people.
Wow.
Baltimore is rated the 4th most dangerous city in America. And Governor Westmore doesn't want Trump's help. He just wants him to come take a walk.
Donald Trump, if you are not willing to walk our communities, keep our name out of your mouth. Because if you were willing to visit, if you were willing to spend time, if you were willing to actually walk our communities and walk our streets and not just talk about us from the Oval Office, you would see what we see. One of the greatest cities in the United States of.
Elon has asked in a rather nasty and provocative tone that I walk the streets of Maryland with him. I assume he is talking about out-of-control, crime-ridden Baltimore. As president, I would much prefer that he clean up this crime disaster. But less than a year ago, he was kissing the ring.
Mr. President, welcome back to Maryland, sir. Welcome back to Maryland. It's good to see you.
In person, too.
Thank you, sir. Great to see you. Great to see you. And great to have you back here. Great to have you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we are very, very anxious to be able to work closely with you.
Wow. West wanted to work closely with Trump when he thought no one was watching. But now he's running for president, so he's resisting like JB back. Crime was one of the most important issues in the last election. It ranked higher than foreign policy and the deficit. The president has a mandate. That's how democracy works.
And they say, we don't need him. Freedom, freedom. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense and I'm a smart person. And when I see what's happening to our cities, and then you send in troops, instead of being praised, they're saying you're trying to take over the republic. These people are sick.
Black on black crime is going to keep raging if everyone's so afraid to talk about it. You can't arrest your way out of drugs, gangs, and broken homes, but it's a good start. If there's not going to be consequences at home, there's going to be consequences in society. And a party that doesn't believe in consequences isn't a party. It's anarchy. The left lost millions of voters over defund the police and open borders. And Trump's going to be going city to city with ICE and the Guard, cracking down on crime and illegals. And if there's a faction of politicians that fight that, they're going to suffer bad headlines 24/7. Or they can do the right thing and work with Trump to turn their cities into the Magic Kingdom.
Guys, is this not beautiful? Again, it's just one thing right after the other of wins, wins, wins. Trump is so... I mean, if we don't get this instituted, and this is why he signed the executive order, no mail-in ballots for the 2026-2028 election, and if you do go against it, you're losing your federal funding because of what's on the screen right here. This came out this morning, everybody. Look at this. Breaking. Pennsylvania is banned from rejecting any mail-in ballots that are illegally dated. Third Circuit Court of Appeals rules. So this is from the leading report, y'all. This is huge. So you're telling me that anybody can just send in a mail-in ballot? Maybe they have some from the old election. Maybe they have some that they printed up, put the wrong date on. It doesn't matter. They got to accept them. If the corruptness is not revealing itself every single moment of the day, I'm telling you, we are reporting on it big time. And that's why, again, it's not just about Trump. It's Trump's dream team who's making all this stuff happen. It's having the right people in play, because if the more that we have wins like this is who's going to continue to take America to the next level across the board. Listen to this.
Let's bring in Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Governor, why do mayors resist help fighting crime from the feds?
It's absolutely crazy that they wouldn't be thanking Donald Trump for helping them fix their cities. One of the big reasons that Donald Trump is president is because people want to feel safe in their communities. They want the border to be shut down. They don't want drugs and lawlessness taking over our country. And it's one of the big things that propelled him back into the White House, because they know he's a president who's going to bring law and order. He's going to back up our law enforcement. He's going to make people feel safe and secure again. And that's exactly what he's delivering on. I think that Democrat mayors and governors need to be thanking him and begging him to come to their cities and help them out, because clearly they're not capable of doing the job, and they need a president that will step in. I don't blame Joe Biden, though, because not only did he not know what was happening in D.C., he didn't know what was happening anywhere in the country. So it's a good thing we have Donald Trump back in the White House to help not only secure our nation's capital, but to make our entire country safer, stronger, and much more secure than it's been in decades.
Do you have any...
Wow. All right, y'all just let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. I literally just felt that, dang, Biden ain't going to be prosecuted for nothing. Because what she just said there, they're going to plead that he had dementia, he was old, and this and this and that, and nothing's going to happen to him. He's going to walk away scot-free. Like, this is mind-blowing what you're hearing right now. Because even if Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who is the Arkansas governor, says that, oh, we can't blame Biden, he didn't know what was going on, this is nuts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I just want accountability. Let me know your thoughts. I just want people to be held accountable so we stop the corruption.
Any crime problems in any of your cities in Arkansas, and would you invite the president with the guard to come help?
We're always going to invite Donald Trump and its safety and security into our state. We certainly have worked really hard. We've expanded prison capacity, put more law enforcement officers on our streets in the last 2 years. It's been one of the biggest focuses of our state and will continue to be, and we will always work with President Trump to make sure our communities and our state are safer. I applaud him. I'm thankful for it, and we want to keep working with him to make Arkansas as safe as everywhere else in the country.
You know, the Democrats are playing the race card. They're saying he's only going after cities with black mayors. Well, Mayor Wu is not black in Boston. They have a white mayor in San Francisco. There's a white mayor in St. Louis. Do you see any racial component to this?
I see a president who's focused on security. It has nothing to do with race and everything to do with going into cities where you have Democrat mayors who are refusing to do their job and actually help protect the people that they've been elected to serve. Now we have a president who says, if you won't do it, I will. And he's finally stepping up. Like I said, they should be thanking him, not fighting him, and welcoming him into helping do their jobs, because they're simply not getting it done.
Did you see Kami Mandami not get it done? I mean, that wasn't a lot of weight. That might have been probably less than his body weight. He doesn't look more than 135 pounds anyway. Does that inspire you as just a general observer, Governor?
I think my 11-year-old could bench press more than he did, and I think I'd be happy to put him up against him. But it just shows not only are they weak in the weight room, but weak when it comes to providing safety and security. And I'm glad that he's not the mayor of any town here in Arkansas.
All right. Well, I'm sure your son could put up more than that, Governor. Sarah Huckabee.
This is, oh my goodness, this is everything that a lot of people are starting to come out new lawsuits are coming in place for what's happening with Lisa Cook. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because again, it's not just Lisa Cook. You got Letitia James, Shifty Schiff. All these people have committed the same dang crime, y'all. This is what we're talking about. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, y'all, thank you so much for your support. We are going after everybody in the most simplest thing. When you have your mortgage papers and you have to check what is your primary residence, you choose what is your primary residence, whether it's this place or that place. And these people are too smart to say, oh, it was a mistake. They lied. They need to be held accountable. Listen to this.
This is our hot topic of the hour. It's something I just mentioned to you at the top of the show. President Trump says that Fed Governor Lisa Cook has been relieved of her position on the Fed board over rising allegations of mortgage fraud. He posted the letter that he sent her on Truth Social, outlining her firing, saying, quote, "The American people must be able to have full confidence in the honesty of the members overseeing the Federal Reserve. In light of your deceitful and potentially criminal conduct in a financial matter, they cannot, and I do not have such confidence in your integrity." Now, Cook refusing to resign, reportedly saying this: President Trump reported to fire me for cause when no cause exists under the law, and he has no authority to do so. I will not resign. I will continue to carry out my duties to help the American economy, as I have been doing since 2022. U.S. Federal Housing Director Bill Pulte, who has been on this case since day one, thanking the president for his actions, he said on X, "If you commit mortgage fraud in America, we will come after you, no matter who you are." Pulte also spoke with Maria last week on this program, who laid out Cook's situation.
Lisa Cook has big problems. They're going to continue to get bigger. It's very odd to see people try to twist backways, sideways, and upside down to justify mortgage fraud. This is a very serious crime. I believe the president has ample cause to fire Lisa Cook. We will go where mortgage fraud is. If mortgage fraud is with a Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't matter. If you commit mortgage fraud in President Trump's America, we're going to come after you. And Lisa Cook is no exception to that. In her case, she had a home in Michigan, and then 2 weeks later, she gets a loan in Michigan for her home. She declares it as her primary principal residence. And then literally 2 weeks later, she goes to an Atlanta condo, buys an Atlanta condo, secures a loan, and also declares that as her primary residence.
Okay, so to be here clear, Mitch, so the allegations of mortgage fraud, Bill Pulte has referred this to the DOJ and Pam Bondi. So Cook is under investigation. However, there is no decision there and charges have not been filed. The question now becomes the legal term under the law that governs the Federal Reserve. And that is where it's a little murky. This is unprecedented. We've never had a president, quote, fire a Federal Reserve Board governor in our nation's history. What do you make of this?
Well, there's a presumption of innocence out there, you know, in general. That's the way our country was founded. Having said that, she is a governor of the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve Bank, amongst other things, is responsible for oversight of our entire financial system. And here you have an individual who said that Michigan and Atlanta, Georgia are both her principal residents. It could be a clerical oversight, give her the benefit of the doubt, but it doesn't look good, it doesn't smell good. And this is part of a pattern. We saw this with Senator Adam Schiff, and there are others, that, you know, people who are in a position of authority, like senators, like Fed governors, should not be making these kinds of mistakes. It's not a good look. But if it wasn't for the president's harsh criticism of the Fed and Jerome Powell and their decision-making prowess regarding interest rates and other things, this probably wouldn't be as hot of a political issue.
Well, Michael,
I'm telling you, that's the thing, is that everybody that is standing in the way of Trump putting America first, just even like this Cracker Barrel logo, guys, that you're gonna be looked at because you're probably hiding something. You're probably doing something if you're going against America first in some form or fashion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because again, Trump's not holding back, and I love it. And if you're watching, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button, and doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button. We've had, guys, this is big show today. I don't get it. Sometimes we get the fireworks and sometimes we don't. It's like, I don't know, picks and chooses whenever it wants to do it. But I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our viewers and subscribers. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much for sharing our videos, liking our videos. Want to give some special love to Lisa Bateman today. Welcome to the family. Jeffrey Hatt, Pretty Butterfly Glow, Thomas Otranto, Patrick Trebet. Y'all show them some love in the chat, everybody. We're so thankful for where America is going. Trump's cleaning up America, putting America first, holding everybody accountable. His cabinet team is rocking like nobody other. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.